May Newsletter 2026. The May 2026 edition of the KDAB newsletter brings fresh updates from the worlds of Rust, Qt, C++, and developer tooling. We start with a look ahead to Oxidize 2026 in Berlin, the applied Rust conference that brings together engineers and technical leaders building real systems with Rust in production. This month also debuts a new 3-part interview series from the curious developer. Jesper Pedersen sits down with C++ expert Nicolai Josuttis to explore the evolution of the C++ standard, the design trade-offs behind modern language features, and what developers can expect from C++ 26 and beyond. On the Qt side, a new blog post introduces a cleaner Qt 6.12 pattern for connecting QML controllers with C++ logic using externally managed Singleton instances. And, in the tooling space, several new video episodes dig into productivity techniques for both Qt Creator and CLion, covering debug workflows, keybindings, source navigation, and editor customization. As always, we wrap with the upcoming training opportunities and industry events across Qt, C++, and Rust to help you stay sharp and connected. Singleton controllers in times of declarative QML. In this new blog post, André Sommers explores a Qt 6.12 pattern for connecting QML controllers to C++ logic using QML engine set external Singleton instance. The approach blends declarative Singleton registration with externally managed instances, giving developers a cleaner, more flexible way to structure application logic while keeping QML code straightforward and maintainable. Oxidize 2026 agenda and ticket sales are live. Oxidize 2026 returns to Berlin on September 14th to the 16th as the leading conference for applied Rust and real-world production experience, bringing together engineers and technical leaders working with Rust in production. KDAB is co-hosting the event with Ferris Systems and contributing 4 workshops alongside a wide range of talks covering everything from embedded and safety-critical systems to Rust, C++ interoperability. The full schedule is now available. KDAB will be present throughout the conference with engineers available to discuss practical Rust adoption in real-world systems, from architecture decisions and embedded development to Rust C++ interoperability. For teams exploring hybrid Rust C++ approaches, KDAB has also published a white paper, Software Development Best Practices, Building Hybrid Rust and C++ Applications. It outlines architectural strategies, tooling considerations, and lessons learned from integrating Rust into existing C++ codebases, making it a useful companion for anyone attending the interoperability-focused sessions at Oxidize. KDAB's contributions to Oxidize 2026. KDAB engineers Nicolas and Nicolai Josuttis will lead the workshop Rust and C++ Can Be Friends, focusing on practical techniques for integrating Rust into existing C++ systems. The session covers tools such as CXX, CMake, and Cargo, and highlights patterns that help teams adopt Rust incrementally and safely. KDAB's CCO, Till Adam, will join a panel discussion on navigating the Rust job market, hiring and being hired, alongside industry experts exploring how Rust roles are evolving as adoption grows and what both candidates and hiring teams should expect in a rapidly maturing ecosystem. The Curious Developer interview with Nicolai Josuttis. In this in-depth interview series, Jesper Pedersen speaks with C++ expert, best-selling author, and longtime standards committee member Nicolai Josuttis about the evolution of the C++ language and the realities of working with a rapidly developing standard. Across the conversations, they explore how design decisions are made, how new features shape real-world usability, and how decades of teaching and writing have influenced the way C++ is documented and understood today. In the first episode, Jesper sits down with Nicolai to discuss how C++ standards evolve in practice, why C++ 23 has proven particularly challenging to document and teach, and how his long teaching career has shaped the structure and clarity of his well-known complete guidebooks for both newcomers and experienced developers. In the second episode, the conversation continues with a deep dive into the design of filter view in C++20 and C++23, and its role in the upcoming C++26 standard. They examine how seemingly small design choices in ranges can affect const correctness, usability, and safety, and why revisiting these decisions becomes increasingly difficult once they are part of the standard. In the final episode, Jesper and Nicolai look ahead to C++26 and beyond, covering the feature freeze process, incremental fixes, and the ongoing debate around contracts. They also explore the growing importance of reflection, along with future directions such as SIMD, ranges, concurrency, and pattern matching, as the community begins to shape C++29. KDAB video releases. Your monthly dose of Qt widgets and more. Navigating the Qt source code from Qt Creator. Wouldn't it be useful to jump straight into the Qt source code while working on your own project? In this episode, Jesper Pedersen demonstrates two simple techniques for configuring Qt Creator's locator so you can move through the Qt sources quickly and stay in the flow while developing. You can find the episode on our YouTube channel. A plethora of new Qt with CLion episodes. 5 new episodes have been added to the Qt with CLion series with Jesper Pedersen. Drawing on years of experience with Qt Creator and advanced IDE workflows, Jesper demonstrates practical techniques for customizing CLion, improving navigation, streaming debugging, and boosting everyday development productivity. Configuring keybindings in CLion. Learn how to tailor CLion's keybindings, discover which actions are mapped to which shortcuts, and fine-tune your setup for a smoother, more efficient workflow. How to replace Qt Creator help using CLion. If you miss Qt Creator's instant F1 help, this episode shows how to quickly access Qt documentation from within CLion so you can keep your development flow uninterrupted. Walking up and down the backtrace in CLion. Qt Creator users often rely on shortcuts for moving through the call stack while debugging. Jesper demonstrates how to add equivalent functionality in CLion, making stack navigation just as quick and intuitive. How to jump to the next previous era in CLion. CLion almost provides a Qt Creator-style shortcut for jumping between errors, but not quite. This episode explains the default behavior and shows how to configure F6-style navigation so error handling feels familiar and fast. Block editing in CLion. Editing multiple lines, columns, or specific regions at once can dramatically speed up refactoring. Jesper walks through several ways to perform block edits in CLion, helping you apply changes across your codebase with precision. All these episodes, and more, can be viewed online on our YouTube channel. KDAB Training. Whether you're looking to deepen your expertise or build new skills, KDAB offers a range of upcoming courses to support your professional development. Here's what's coming up in Berlin over the next few months. Full details are available in the complete training calendar. Advanced QML, Berlin, Germany, August 18th to the 20th, 3 days in English. This course dives into QML C++ integration, scene graph profiling, and performance optimization. You'll learn how to use OpenGL in QML, identify UI bottlenecks, and apply best practices for high-performance applications, even on constrained hardware. Debugging and profiling C++ applications on Linux, Berlin, Germany, September 22nd to the 24th, 3 days in English. An introduction to the essential tools for finding bugs and diagnosing performance issues in C++ applications on Linux. The course covers practical debugging workflows, CPU and memory profiling, and Linux-specific analysis tools. Advanced Programming with Qt Widgets, Berlin, Germany, October 13th to the 15th, 3 days in English. Designed for experienced Qt developers, this course focuses on Qt internals, large-scale application architecture, and system integration. Optional modules include multi-threading and inter-process communication. These and more can be found on our training website. Upcoming Rust courses, online 2026. KDAB's online Rust training courses are now open for registration. offered in collaboration with Ferris Systems, a long-standing member of the Rust community since before Rust 1.0. Below is an overview of the upcoming sessions. Full details are available in the complete schedule. Introduction to Rust. Online, September 21st to the 25th. 5 half-days in English. A comprehensive introduction to Rust's core concepts, ownership model, type system, and tooling. Ideal for developers looking to build a solid foundation in modern Rust. Embedded Rust. Online, October 7th to the 9th. 3 half-days in English. A focused course on using Rust in embedded environments, covering memory-safe patterns, hardware interaction, and practical workflows for constrained systems. Introduction and Embedded Rust Combo. Online, September 21st to October 9th. 8 half-days in English. A combined track that brings together both courses for a complete foundation in general and embedded Rust development. All the latest REL event news can be found on kdab.com/events. Remember that you can get all the links of items mentioned here in the description, the kdab.com/newsletter, or from the newsletter if you're signed up to it. Thank you so much for listening to the KDAB newsletter. Don't hesitate to give feedback or questions, and we'll see you in the next one.